having an inspirational afternoon, and it's all about giving back, changing mindsets, of course, giving you a better perspective of life and helping you through this difficult period. But through this difficult period also comes the time of giving and creating support structures. Now, how many of us relate to a color? And there's a color that has definitely stood out for me this afternoon, and this relates to one of our beautiful NPOs that we're going to be showcasing this afternoon, and it's the color orange. And what does it say about orange? Orange combines the energy of red and the happiness of yellow. It is associated with joy, sunshine, and the tropics. Orange represents enthusiasm, fascination, happiness, creativity, determination, attraction, success, encouragement, and stimulation. In heraldry, orange is symbolic of strength and endurance. And this definitely relates to our registered NPO, who has a vision to create a sustainable world through empowered people and strong communities. They believe in delivering short and long-term interventions to needy communities with competence and compassion. Of course, the Team Orange assists with the relief of poverty, education, and emergency relief. And I'd like to welcome, of course, from Penny Appeal, the Orange team, Sister Shanaz Farooq. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon on the Nafisa Dango Show.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. It's always a pleasure to be on and to be chatting with you. And shukran for welcoming us so warmly.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think I'm so taken by this color orange. I was looking at it this morning and asking myself, why the color orange? And when I looked at the type of meaning it had, I so related to you and your organization and really what you mean and what you're about. So talk to us about that.
So Penny Appeal, all of the things that you described, I think those are the things that we want people to think when they see us. Obviously, having a welcoming and a warm color always helps. But I think definitely it's a lot about, taking the good in this world. We're so often feeling overwhelmed and overburdened with everything that's going on, the negativity, not just now, even looking back. And I think it's always good to have a focal point of positivity that looks at as we like to say at Penny Appeal, the small changes that make big differences. And I think that's really important, to be able to solicit these feelings from people of positivity, radiance, warmth, so that ultimately we understand that as humanity, we always come together as one, firstly. And I think more than that it doesn't take a lot to change things that are wrong in this world. It's the small changes that end up making the big differences ultimately.
That is so true because, as they say, a little goes a long way. And it's about each person joining in and creating this united support structure that can reach out in a big way. And that's what it's about.
Definitely. I think if you ask me what are one of the underpinning pillars of Penny Appeal, what makes us so unique, I'd have to say, like you said, it's Team Orange. Team Orange may just be to some people our volunteer component of the organization. But in actual fact, it's something that resides in all of us, whether we're staff members or whether we're volunteers. The single vision and the togetherness is to basically ensure that we're able to have a unified force that's driven for with one purpose, which is the betterment of society and the betterment of humanity. So it's always comforting to know that there are always like-minded people that always find their way together.
Most definitely. And I know you have an array of projects, lined up as usual. But let's talk about the two that are standing out at the moment, which is, of course, the Yemen project. Talk to us and give us some insight regarding that.
So we understand that Yemen has now officially been classed or termed as the largest humanitarian crisis in the world. I think since 2015, matters have just simply escalated for this country. From having issues of civil war, it then went on to cholera outbreaks, diphtheria, illness, famine. And I think all of these culminations of things have definitely led to it really impacting a nation who literally, the more you think that there's nothing more that they can lose, they've been dealt blow upon blow. And I think this is truly a nation that has been tested and tested time and time again. And now, most recently, as all of us and the rest of the world has recently been tested with the COVID pandemic, the people of Yemen are also being tested. And this time it's obviously that much worse because given the issues that they faced previously, the famine, the ill health, the failing healthcare system, with this onset of COVID, literally there's a fear that Yemen could actually cease to exist. The Yemen that we know will cease to exist, that the illness will wipe out the majority of the population. You know, we're talking about at least 80% of the population. The statistics talk about 80% or more starving, not having access to food. There are children that are dying of starvation. There are adults that have no food. They have no adequate nutrition access. They are failing healthcare systems. The doctors are not equipped. The doctors themselves are dying in some situations. And this brings about a huge crippling effect on that healthcare system. So can you imagine with 80% of the population living in tents, not having adequate shelter, starving, facing famine, now having to somehow find a way to beat the onset of the coronavirus pandemic, which is now hitting them. I think that they are now classed as perhaps the most vulnerable communities or groups. If you look at anywhere else in the world, I would say this is the most vulnerable. And so begins the battle yet again to be able to save the people of Yemen, to be able to provide them with food so that they can build up their immune systems. You know, the images that came back from the team on the ground that were there with some of the children, and I often have to just hold myself, because I myself as an aunt have nieces and nephews, and I look at them and I think it's well and good that, you know, all of these are a result of the civil war that's happened and as a result of the famine. But now you've got a situation which is beyond their control. It's not because of a civil war. It's not because of any political agendas. It's literally the same virus where we had challenges, which they are now facing. So our aim is to, inshallah, try and prepare them in whichever little way we can. Obviously, the pandemic is of enormous proportions in terms of the help and the aid that's needed. We're hopeful that even if we're able to literally save a few lives, you know, we know the hadith, it's as if you would have saved all of mankind with just a few lives. So the Penny Pill family is on the ground. We've been distributing food packs. We've been raising funds to provide medical supplies, to help that health system, to assist medical practitioners so that they're able to provide relief in some way or the other, and then also to provide the much needed nutrition and food that's needed by the people of Yemen. So I would definitely say that it's a country that's very much in need right now. They really do need our assistance. And it's a cause that's quite close to my heart. Everybody that knows me knows it's South Africa first, you know, proudly South African. But I do feel that this is one cause that definitely stands out much more than the rest.
For now, yes, it does, most definitely. And I mean, if you look at all those pictures with those kids and what sort of you know, challenges they're facing as young as they are, it is very heartbreaking. And I think a lot of people would want to, of course, reach out in many directions to try and actually kind of ease it off for them. I think that's the only thing we can really do, is just try and ease it off.
That's exactly it. You know, the reality of the situation is that we're not going to be able to help everybody. We're not even going to be able to assist some of them in the best or most fulfilling way. We'll have to try and reach some individuals to be able to provide the very most basic form of relief, which is why I say it's focused rather on providing adequate nutrition. It's the nutrition that's needed to build up those immune systems. It's the provision of medical supplies to help those, to fight off any cholera that may still be around there, to help people fight, you know, against this COVID disease, and inshallah bring about some form of normalcy. So we're very much aware that we won't be able to assist anybody. It has to be a unified effort by all of the NGO key players on the ground. I think that's also key. There have been lots of NGOs doing sterling work in Yemen, and I think there can never be any end to how many join the fight for the cause of the people of Yemen. But most definitely, I think starting and making that intention and making that niyyah to save at least one life, to provide that plate of food. Believe me when I say, and if you check some of our social medias, it does get to them. It does make a difference. I myself have seen stories or instances of raw footage where people are truly thankful for getting a simple meal. We're talking about such a simple meal. And I think that once we understand that there's no higher grade solution and there's no higher grade way of reaching out and helping them, it's very simple. We need to open our hearts. We need to donate in whichever way we can with whatever we have to be able to get as much aid over as possible so that they're able to sustain themselves, inshallah.
I mean, that is so true. I agree with you totally. What about your Qurbani project? I know, I mean, of course, that period is coming up real soon.
Mhm.
It's not very long before we actually reach that. What are you doing
That's
for
right.
that?
Yeah. So Qurbani, it's actually going to be our third annual Qurbani campaign since Penny Appeal started in South Africa. Initially, we started with just testing it. And then by the second year, which was last year, we grew a little bit more to test it in 2 cities. And this year, alhamdulillah, we managed to repeat our Qurbani campaign. We're focused a lot on the usual aspects in terms of providing quality Qurbani opportunities for individuals so it becomes affordable and rewardable. To the Penny Appeal team is going out tomorrow just to double check on our suppliers because we do the full assessment and monitoring and evaluation of the livestock that we're procuring. So we'll be out visiting the farms tomorrow, inshallah. But our Qurbani campaign kicks off in South Africa. We'll also be doing Qurbani in India and Uganda, and those are the 3 countries at the moment. India and Uganda is at a price of 700 Rand, and South Africa is at 1,800 Rand. So inshallah, we're looking forward to implementing that project. There are a few individuals that we have earmarked to assist us with implementing the Qurbani campaign. We're well aware of the regulations in terms of COVID this year. And so whereas previously we would have had large numbers of volunteers assisting us with slaughter and with the packaging, this year it's totally changed. You know, it's on a smaller scale, which means we're going to have to start a lot earlier in terms of slaughter. But inshallah, it's still the same quality of Qurbani at the same affordable price, inshallah.
Most definitely. And of course, those packages get distributed to those that are in dire need. And that's just the nice thing about it is by, of course, supporting you in turn supporting somebody else and uplifting them and empowering them in so many directions. Yeah. And as you were saying, a little meal goes such a long way.
It does. And I think, if anything, when it comes to our Qurbani campaign, as well as our Ramadan campaign, at Penny Appeal, the team, we see ourselves as literally those individuals that are simply the middle people to expedite on behalf of individuals. So the reward obviously still lies with those that make the intention to help others. The distribution happens for Qurbani in different ways. We either, for some communities, we provide hot cooked meals with the meat. And for others, we ensure that they receive at least a 2 to 3 kg meat pack per family, depending on the size of the family. And that goes together with a little food pack that's then given out to the individuals and to the families.
Wow, that's it's so nice to know that Team Orange is actually going out there and fulfilling the needs of the colors we were just saying, the determination, the perseverance, the stimulation, reaching out in many directions, uplifting people, and of course, enlightening them in some way. It just makes them feel better with this, with regard to the situation.
Or as we like to say, spraying it orange, whoever we can, spraying it orange. But
well,
I do
we're
think
looking forward to seeing the orange everywhere.
Inshallah, we will start it up again and you will see lots of orange. But I think the key to all of that, Nafisa, is, we can't do any of it without 2 things. And firstly, nothing would be possible unless it was Allah Ta'ala's will and with His mercy and His blessings for allowing us to do the work we do and for allowing us to serve the individuals that we serve. And then also, I think it's a lot about the community and our well-wishers and supporters who support us, who believe in our visions for wanting to help people, who support us enough so we're able to ensure that we get our assistance and aid out to individuals and communities. Really, nothing would be possible without those 2 things. And for that, every single day, we're really thankful, truly, truly thankful for given the opportunity to serve humanity.
And we're thankful for you joining us this afternoon and enlightening us about Team Orange. And we hope you go on spraying that love and that ambition and, of course, enlightening people, uplifting them, and, of course, empowering them in many directions. So Jazakallah for joining us this afternoon. We really thank you so much. And we wish you nothing but, of course, lots of strength during this very difficult period to be able to go out there and persevere and spray that orange all over the place. Jazakallah so much.
Jazakallah khair. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. It is definitely an inspirational talk with Sister going out there and making a difference in many directions. Stay with us. We'll be back with you in a bit with some wholesome eating.